Okay, when we think about the race to cure something like cancer, our minds probably go straight to scientists in a lab, right? But what if I told you one of the biggest challenges is actually in the library? See, there's this absolute avalanche of data out there. So today, we're going to dig into how these pharma companies are trying to turn all that chaos into real, life-saving breakthroughs.
You know, at the end of the day, every single new therapy, every life that's saved, it all starts with information. It's a piece of data. But here's the thing about medicine. It's not just like solving one big puzzle. It's more like with every discovery, you're building a brand new puzzle. And the company that can see that bigger picture and see it faster than anyone else, well, that's the one that's going to change the world.
So that leads to the big question, right? What happens when there's just too much? When the signal you're desperately looking for gets completely lost in all the noise? What do you do when the very information that's supposed to help you just overwhelms you instead?
And that brings us to what you could call the medical information maze. I mean, just picture it. Imagine you're trying to navigate this massive, treacherous ocean of clinical trial data, patent filings, expert opinions. It's just everywhere. And if you make one wrong turn, you could be lost for years. We're talking billions of dollars wasted.
And look, this just gives you a little taste of the scale we're talking about. For just one area, let's say gastrointestinal cancer, you're hit with this tidal wave of information. Competitor pipelines, new drug mechanisms, market reports. I mean, look at all this. It's a total deluge. And companies somehow have to figure out how to just stay afloat, never mind actually get to where they're going.
So how on earth do you navigate a maze like that? Well, let's get specific and look at a real-world example. We're going to follow a big global pharmaceutical company that was locked in this super high-stakes race to develop new treatments for gastrointestinal cancers. And believe me, the pressure was on.
To even have a shot at winning this race, they had to rely on a really powerful tool called competitive intelligence, or CI for short. Now, this isn't some kind of corporate spy movie stuff. It's really about building a better map for that maze we were talking about. It's the art of figuring out what your competitors are up to, what's working for them, what's coming next, all by carefully piecing together information that's already out there in the open. And this particular company, they had some really urgent questions. They needed to know, what are the new drugs coming up? What are these new mechanisms of action? What did the latest clinical trials show? What are the top doctors, the key opinion leaders, or KOLs saying about all this? But really, at the end of the day, all those questions boil down to one huge question. What does all of this mean for us, for our strategy?
Okay, so how do you actually find those answers? How do you slice through all that deafening noise to find that one clear signal you can actually act on? Well, this is where a firm like DelveInsight comes in. They've developed a methodology to solve this exact problem.
Their approach is pretty brilliant, actually. It's a four-step process designed to forge clarity out of total chaos. So first up, planning. You don't just wander into a huge medical conference hoping to find something. No, you go in with a laser-focused list of questions. Second, you have your subject matter experts right there on the ground, capturing data as it happens, in real time. Third, you go talk to the key opinion leaders. I mean, these are the rock stars of the medical world, and you get their take on all the new data. And then finally, the last step, you pull it all together, synthesize everything, and that's where you find the strategic goal.
And this is where the magic happens. This is the big payoff. It's that incredible moment where the client goes from being totally lost in the data, just paralyzed by uncertainty, to suddenly having complete confidence and control. They're ready to make their move.
I mean, the transformation is just stunning. Think about it. Before, they were drowning in data. Afterwards, they had this holistic 360-degree view of the entire competitive landscape. They went from being strategically uncertain to having real strategic agility. They stopped just reacting to what everyone else was doing, and they got ready to actually shape the market themselves.
And this new clarity wasn't just some vague feeling, right? It was delivered as a set of actual powerful tools. Things like a comprehensive report that summarized everything, and interactive dashboards so they could easily explore all the key data. And most importantly, a list of actionable recommendations that told their R&D, clinical, and marketing teams exactly what to do. This is how you turn raw, messy data into a real competitive advantage.
So, okay, a company makes a better business decision. You might be thinking, big deal, who cares? Well, here's the thing. In the world of medicine, one single smarter decision can have this massive ripple effect that ends up saving thousands of lives. So let's zoom out for a second and see why this whole thing matters so much.
See, it all starts with having a smarter strategy. When a company has this kind of clarity, they know exactly which paths are worth exploring and, maybe even more importantly, which ones are just expensive dead ends they need to avoid.
And that smarter strategy? It leads directly to better investments.
We're talking about billions of R&D dollars that are no longer just being gambled. Instead, all those precious resources can be laser-focused on the therapies that show the most promise.
Which, at the end of the day, helps bring new medicines to the patients who need them faster. And that, right there, is what this is all about. That's the real finish line. That's the victory that actually counts.
So that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. In a world that's just drowning in data, what is the true price of clarity? I mean, what's the real cost? In dollars, in time, in lives, of not having it? It really makes you wonder.